I think one of the most dangerous things that you can possibly be is apathetic. Whether you're apathetic regarding your personal circumstances or the world at large, I think that not caring about things is one of the worst traits that you can possibly have. And I think a large part of the danger with it is that it's actually very easy to fall into apathy. It's very easy to feel like you don't care about anything. I think that if you look at the world that we live in, if you look at economic circumstances or social issues or anything like that, I think that if you look at your own personal life, sometimes it can feel like not caring is the only option to make it through the next day. But really, there's no circumstance where not caring about your life and the direction it heads in is better than the opposite. There's a question that exists in my mind: is happiness the default? Is the normal state of everyday life and of living in general to be happy? Or is happiness something that is worked towards? Is happiness and joy and fulfillment only something that can be achieved? In essence, I'm kind of asking the question, is happiness a nature or a nurture type thing? Because if it is something that must be worked towards, then that implies that neutrality or even potentially unhappiness is the default state of human beings. And to be frank, I don't have answers to these questions. I can't say for certain which answer is correct, and it may boil down to individual temperament, but at least for me, I have to work in order to feel fulfilled. Whenever I'm just sitting there doing nothing, I do not experience some kind of blissful peace. And I think that some of you will probably relate to that. I think that others may not. You know, if you feel like you're a pretty happy person in general, then you might not relate to that at all. But the reason I bring it up is that if you're someone like me, if you're someone who doesn't just naturally experience happiness, I think it's very easy to fall into apathy. If you look at the world around us, there are so many problems, there are so many issues, there are so many things that are wrong in my personal life and presumably yours as well. So if you're like me and you feel like you have to work towards happiness, it's so easy to be discouraged from that. It's so easy to look at goals that you want to accomplish and to feel like you can't do it. In every endeavor, I think that there is a chance to fail. There's a chance to succeed, but our mind naturally gravitates towards focusing on the negative. And the idea that our mind focuses on the negative is very much something that's been proven over and over again with different studies. People are more scared of loss than they are excited by the prospect of gaining things. For instance, there are different studies that have been similar to this. I'm not quoting an exact one, but if you do a study where people will either lose $5 or gain $20 and they have a 50-50 chance of either, people will not take that up. Even though if you do the math on it, your potential for reward is much higher than your potential for loss. In spite of that, loss still scares people. Trying and failing scares people. And most of the time, you're not given any sort of guarantee. Most of the time, there's no guarantee that you will succeed. Most of the time, there's no guarantee that if you start a business, if you write a book, if you try to draw or paint or whatever, if you ask people on dates, there's a chance they will say no. If you pay a lot of money for an experience, there is a chance that you will have a bad time in spite of paying money. If you spend 4 years of your life getting a degree, there is a chance that you will never be able to find a job using it. And so what I'm trying to illustrate is the fact that I think there are a lot of things, there are a lot of issues that come together that can make life seem very bleak. And so as a result, I think it's very normal to try to numb out those feelings. I think it's normal to try to numb out any kind of fear, any kind of anxiety, worry, negativity, pessimism. I think it's completely normal to seek out different things to numb these feelings. If you're experiencing any kind of negative emotion, then I think it's pretty normal to seek out something that will stimulate a positive emotion. I think it's normal to turn to video games, to turn to social media, to go onto YouTube and watch videos. I think it's normal to seek out different friends, to use substances. I think that if you're experiencing overwhelming negative emotions, I think it's normal to seek out all these different things, which may or may not be hurtful to you. And really, if you do it for long enough, I think it's normal to become numb and to become apathetic towards everything. I think there's a certain issue that comes with the overwhelming fear of failure, where basically you can't just be scared forever. You can't just be scared of the same thing every single day for your entire life without coping with it in some way, shape, or form. And so really, I think that's how apathy towards the world or towards your own personal life begins. I don't think you start out being apathetic. I think you may even start out happy or hopeful, and then I think that you just kind of get worn down, and so as a result, as a coping mechanism almost, you become numb. And when you become numb, you don't care. The greatest danger of apathy, I think, is the fact that it's not just a single destination, but rather it is a downward spiral. If your apathy towards the world and towards your own personal life is initially caused by different fears, by different worries, if it's caused by experiences of hopelessness or despair, if your sense of apathy is rooted in any of these things, then I think that the issue is that it will only get worse. Let's say that you have dreams and you have goals, and then you start feeling hopelessness, and you feel that for a very long time, at which point you become apathetic. If you become apathetic towards things, if you become numb, then you don't feel that fear anymore, but at the same time, you also don't feel that impulse to improve. And so if you have any sort of dream or goal and you're trying to reach it, and then just over time it kind of fades away and you become more and more apathetic and you begin to forget it, the goal continues to fade out of reach. If life sucks and you stop caring about things, it will only get worse, I promise you. If you're apathetic towards the direction of your life, no one's gonna come and improve it for you. And this is kind of a difficult pill to swallow, I think. I don't think that anyone has the potential or the ability to improve your own life except for you. And I think that all too easily we can feel like things don't matter. I think that especially if you're trying really, really hard to accomplish something and you're just not getting anywhere, I think it can feel like your efforts are pointless and you're helpless to your situation. I think that we can become defeated actually very easily. And so the true danger of apathy is that not only will it not help you in any way, shape, or form, it'll actually hurt things further. It's something that I've struggled with recently. I've been feeling a degree of apathy and lack of caring towards my entire life situation. And I think that it can be really exhausting to just persist and to feel like you're not getting anywhere. But on the flip side, I think that it can also be really exhausting to persist and to get exactly what you wanted and then to realize that it doesn't make you happy. I think it can be really easy to feel like something is wrong with your life. And if you feel that for long enough, then you just kind of numb it out naturally. As I was saying, I think that everyone has different ways to cope with their life circumstances, with negative feelings or thoughts or behaviors. There are certain emotional coping mechanisms that I think can be really good and helpful, but then I think there are a lot of them that are quite bad. I think there are a lot of them that just give you cheap dopamine hits and that's it. And I think if you get your dopamine from one thing, then you won't be motivated to get it from another. But I feel like I'm definitely coming out of a little bit of an apathetic phase. And for me, I think I've just been kind of burnt out, I'm not gonna lie. I think I've just been exhausted and tired. And I think you can only experience negative feelings such as those for so long before you just kind of say, I'm tired and I don't care. I often think about that line from Paradise Lost where it's Satan who says this, it's the devil who says it. He says that you can make a hell out of heaven or a heaven out of hell. Really what this quote is talking about is it's talking about perception. Basically all this quote is saying is that you can make something good of a bad situation or you can make something bad out of a good situation. As I'm saying, I think it's so easy and so simple to be beat down by different life circumstances. I think it's so simple to look at politics, to look at the state of the world, and to feel like there's no hope for the future. And I think that translates into your own life. Basically, the thought process is that if there's no hope for this massive organism that we call the world, then why would there be any hope for me, just one human being? And so I think it's so easy to fall into that feeling of not caring. I think it's so easy to just kind of let things fade away and to not pay attention. It's so easy to just kind of give up. And the thing with apathy, I think, as I was saying, is that it's very much a downward spiral. You may feel apathetic at first, but I think that if you just don't act, I think that if you just feel numb and you feel unhappy, and I think that if it only gets worse, if your life only cascades downwards, I think if it continues, you will stop feeling apathy and you will start feeling pain and regret. And so with this video, I'm just trying to convey the idea that life is really hard, things are really difficult, and there are no guarantees in life about anything, but I do think that if you give in to apathy, if you give in to not caring about things, if you kind of throw your hands up in the air and say, my life will take on whatever direction it takes, I think inevitably you will end up in a bad position, in a worse position than you were. And so I think apathy is dangerous because it's dangerous to neglect parts of your life that will atrophy and fade away, but I think it's also dangerous because it is the first step downwards. And so with this video, it's a video for you and it's also a video for me. All I'm saying is please care about your life. Please don't give up trying to have a better life. Please don't give up on trying to achieve your goals and your hopes and dreams, because you may not like things now, but if you don't like them now and you give up, it's only going to get worse. Usually people are pretty positive whenever they say crap like this. Whenever people are like, oh yeah, you should care about life because you want your life to be better and you want to be happy. But really, I'm kind of taking the opposite approach, which I think is true. If you don't give a crap, things are just going to fall apart and you're going to be way worse off. So if you feel like you're numbing yourself, stop it. Stop engaging in behaviors that make you not care about life. And really, in my experience, no effort has been wasted. Despite the fact that my efforts rarely pan out the way I think they will, I can still look back at things that I've done in earnest and I can still feel proud. I'm able to feel a sense of pride, and I don't mean that in the Luciferian way, going back to Paradise Lost, but rather I'm able to look at the things that I've done and I'm able to feel a sense of happiness about it. And whenever I look back over anything that I've done, it's always been difficult. If you look at my channel at the time of this video, at the time I'm recording it, I have 130 videos up, and I can remember my life during the recording and making of most of them. And honestly, most of the freaking videos I've made were painful to make. Most of them were difficult to get out. To do 130 of anything, that's kind of tough. But still, I'm glad that I made those videos, and I'm glad that they have helped the people that they've helped. I'm glad that they've provided enjoyment and relief to those who they have provided those things to, whatever. But really, whenever I look back on my life, I'm glad that I wasn't apathetic when I wasn't. Sometimes I have been apathetic, and I'm not really happy about that. But a lot of the time I haven't been, and I feel like my life is better because of it. Thank you for watching. I'm going to the gym now. As always, I always end these videos by saying I'm going to the gym, but only whenever it's true. So I'm going to the gym. Thank you for watching. Please don't be apathetic. Please love those around you, and thank you. Bye.